everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into my flexible spending account presentation. My name is Kim Bowers. I am from Beneflex, and we are the third-party administrator of your flexible spending account. A lot of you have been with us for a lot of years, and we really appreciate your participation. A flexible spending account is a way for you to save money on payroll taxes for your anticipated out-of-pocket medical, dental, and vision expenses. And the way that's done is by making an election for the year, and that money is taken from your paycheck evenly over the course of the year, put into a flexible spending account for you. You'll get a debit card that looks like this to access your funds. And then you can use those funds to pay for out-of-pocket medical, dental, and vision expenses. You will probably benefit from the FSA if you have at least $200 to $300 in anticipated out-of-pocket eligible expenses. Your health insurance plan has a deductible. That would be an eligible expense. Just think about, well, I know I have an expense coming up and I usually need that deductible. So you can set aside money to put into your FSA to cover that deductible. Your prescription drug co-pays at the pharmacy are also eligible. So think about how much those might add up to for a year. And your dependents, any eligible dependents that you have, their expenses are eligible as well. They don't have to be covered here on your health insurance plan. In fact, you don't even have to be covered on Lakeshore's health insurance plan to be able to take advantage of the flexible spending account. I mentioned that the amount of money that you put into the account is not subject to your payroll taxes. Your federal rate might be 15%, and your other taxes add up to roughly about 11%. So you can think about a tax savings of roughly 26% on the amount you elect. I've been telling the same thing for many years, but it's true. Every year I have to put money in my own flexible spending account for orthodontics for my kids. And if I want to put $1,000 away for the coming year, by the way, your year starts on July 1st, I'll elect $1,000 for my flexible spending account, and then I'm going to save roughly at least $250 on that $1,000 because I didn't have to earn, say, $1,250 to have $1,000 net in my pay due to the payroll tax savings. So that is the beauty of the plan. The other big advantage to the plan is it can be a big cash flow advantage. If you know you have a larger expense coming up after July 1st, you can elect the flexible spending account. The funds are in your account for you on July 1st, even though you haven't had all of your payroll deductions yet. And the funds are available for you to pay whatever that large expense might be. Maybe you have a root canal coming up, or you're anticipating having LASIK eye surgery, orthodontia, any of those things, a large amount. So it can be a nice cash flow benefit. This year, the IRS has given us a cost of living increase so that our $2,600 maximum increases to $2,650 for the plan you're beginning July 1. One of the tricky things about a flexible spending account is that your election cannot be changed mid-year. Once we get to July 1st and you've made your election, that election is pretty much carved in stone. However, if you have what the IRS calls a qualifying event, such as marriage or divorce or birth of a child, you do have a 30-day period of time that you can change your election. Otherwise, that election is what it is, and so we always suggest that you estimate conservatively when making your election. The IRS requires an element of risk in an FSA, and the risk is not using all of your money by the end of the plan year, hence that conservative election. However, your plan does have a 2.5-month grace period. When you get to the end of the plan year, which will be next June 30th, there's an extra 75 days or 2.5 months to finish out spending those funds. And that debit card that we give you, it's pretty smart. So what it's going to do in July is it will look and see if you have any funds remaining from the prior year, and it'll take those funds from that year before it starts taking the funds from the current year. It'll even split a transaction over both years if there isn't enough money in the old year. One thing I want to caution you about with the card, though, the card assumes that the date of service is the date that you use it. If you have any old bills that you're just getting at your home, let's say you had a service in May and your insurance processed that bill in June. Now it's July, you're starting to get the bills. Don't use your debit card for those bills. Send it in a paper claim to us. Because when you use your card, it thinks that the date of service is the day you use it. It'll pull those funds from your current plan year, and that money has to come from the prior year. So the IRS requires that we go by date of service. You can track your flexible spending account online, and we have instructions on the website in order for you to create an account online. If you've done that before, but you don't recall your username and password, just give BeneFlex a call, and we'll be happy to get you back into your account. But it's great because you can go on there and you can view any account activity you've had recently. Let's say you're getting a bill for a copay that you were pretty sure you paid with your card. You can look and see if that transaction went through on your account. Of course, you can check your balance 24/7. So that's what most of our participants like about the website. And you can even print a statement of your activity. I'm going to talk a little bit about the debit cards. We are going to send this to your home around the beginning of July once you sign up for the first time. If you've already signed up before and you're in the plan and you've got a debit card, just hold on to it because we're going to reload that same card with your funds for the new plan year. If your card is expiring, we'll send you a new one automatically in the month of expiration. And when you get this card, it's all set to go. There's no activation required. You can use it places that accept eligible, or I'm sorry, that provide eligible FSA items. Those could be places like your pharmacy for your copay, hospitals, doctor's offices where you also may have copay, and other FSA providers such as dentist office and vision centers. Also stores like Walmart and Target and grocery stores do sell some eligible FS items. You don't want to use your card until you know how much your insurance plan is paid. So that money is first line, and then this is your money. You want to save that until you know exactly how much you owe after insurance. And when you use your card, please hold on to your receipts. BeneFlex may ask for a receipt if we are questioning a particular transaction that you had. And also, if the IRS audits your taxes, they are probably going to want to know that you spent your FSA money on eligible items. So what I always do is I have a box in my cupboard. I throw them all year long. When I get to putting my tax papers together at the beginning of the next year, I gather up all my prior year FSA receipts and put them in with my tax information, just so I know where I've stored them. But you can use whatever system works well for you. There is another component to the flexible spending account, and it is for daycare expenses. So if you have a child in a daycare setting while you are working, or if you're paying a private babysitter who's paying taxes on the money that you're paying them, you can use the flexible spending account for that money as well. There's a couple differences. First of all, you can elect up to $5,000 compared to the $2,650 maximum that you can put into the basic FSA. And the other difference is that that account is not pre-funded for you at the beginning of the plan year. The most you can get back out is what your payroll deductions have been thus far. There's a worksheet online to help you figure out if you are, if you're thinking that, yes, I think I would benefit from the FSA, but I don't know what types of eligible expenses I would have. There's some lists in there that you can go over the eligible expenses, and also a worksheet that will help you calculate up the amount you might want to elect. Please keep in mind that if you're in the plan now, elections do not roll over from year to year. So you want to make sure if you are participating on July 1st that you are completing a new election. And also, some news at BeneFlex. We are under new ownership as of last December, and we have moved and we have new email addresses. So if you're using one of our older claim forms, please throw it away. Our new mailing address is 3 Holland Street in Erie, 16507. And our preferred method of receiving claims is at our email address, claims@beneflex-erie.com. That information is on our claim forms that you can access online. And so if you've got one of the older styles with the older information, please throw it out and replace it for us. And thank you very much for tuning in.